I was 23, working returns at a big box retail store outside Minneapolis. The kind of place with endless aisles, fluorescent lights, and a parking lot the size of a football field. My shifts were 8 hours of scanning receipts, dealing with angry customers, and trying not to watch the clock. Most of my co-workers were fine. We'd complain about management, share snacks in the break room, and forget each other's names within a week of someone quitting. Then there was Dale. He worked facilities, late 30s, thinning hair, always in the same navy coveralls with grease stains on the pockets. His job was fixing things, lights, carts, shelf brackets, anything broken. He was polite in that overly helpful way that made you want to end the conversation faster, holding doors too long, offering to carry things you didn't need carried, laughing at comments that weren't jokes. I didn't think much of him at first. The first time my car wouldn't start, I blamed bad luck. It was a Tuesday night. I walked out after closing, the air cold enough to sting my nose. I unlocked my Honda, turned the key, and got nothing. No crank, no click. I tried again, slower, like that would change anything. I was about to call my dad when someone knocked on my window. Dale. He had a flashlight in his hand like he'd been waiting for an excuse to use it. "Car trouble?" he asked, already smiling. I rolled the window down halfway. "It won't start." He nodded like he'd expected it. "Pop the hood, I'll take a look." I didn't want his help, but it was late. The parking lot was mostly empty, and I didn't have jumper cables, so I popped the hood. Dale leaned in with the flashlight. After a few seconds, he pointed. "Battery cable's loose," he said. "Happens all the time." He tightened it with his fingers and stepped back. "Try now." The car started immediately. "Thanks," I said, forcing it to sound normal. He held that smile a beat too long. "Anytime, I'm always around." I drove home and told myself I was being weird about it. 2 weeks later, it happened again. Same routine. End of shift. I turned the key. Nothing. My stomach tightened before I even had a reason to be scared. I called my dad first this time. He was 40 minutes away. While I waited, Dale appeared again, like he'd been summoned. Same flashlight, same coveralls. He looked under the hood and made a small noise with his mouth. "Yep," he said. "Loose again." "That's not normal," I said. He shrugged like it was nothing. "Cars do weird stuff." He tightened the cable. The car started. I thanked him again, but my throat felt dry. That night I lay awake replaying the timing. 2 breakdowns, both after closing, both in the employee lot, both with Dale magically nearby. I tried to rationalize it. Maybe he parked late. Maybe he lived close. Maybe I was just noticing him more because he annoyed me. I almost believed that. Then it happened a third time, and it wasn't in the parking lot. It was at a gas station 3 miles from the store. I'd just started filling up when my dashboard lights flickered, and the engine sputtered hard enough to make my stomach drop. I shut it off, stood there staring at my own car like it had betrayed me. I looked around the station, feeling stupid and exposed. That's when I noticed a Navy pickup in my rear view, 2 cars back at the light at the corner. I hadn't thought anything of it on the drive over, but seeing it there behind me made my skin tighten. When the road split near the station, the pickup had disappeared. I told myself I was imagining patterns. Then a Navy pickup rolled into the gas station lot and parked across from me. Dale stepped out like this was a normal coincidence. "Saw you on my way home," he said, casual. "Thought you might need help." My hands went cold. "I didn't see you behind me," I said. He lifted his shoulders in a half shrug. "I take this route all the time." He walked toward my car without asking. "I'm good," I said quickly. "I already called someone." He stopped, still smiling. "You sure?" "Yeah," I said. "Thanks." He didn't argue. He just stood there watching while I called for a tow and tried to keep my voice steady. When the tow truck finally arrived, Dale didn't leave until the driver started hooking my car up. I slept maybe an hour that night. The next morning I took my car to a mechanic my dad trusted, a guy named Ruben who'd worked on our family's cars for years. I told him about the dead starts, about the timing, about Dale showing up. Ruben didn't laugh. He didn't tease me. He just listened and said, "Leave it with me." 2 hours later, he called. "You need to come here," he said. His voice had changed. "Don't drive fast." When I got there, he led me into the bay. My Honda was on a lift. Ruben pointed underneath. "See that?" he said. At first I didn't. Then I did. A thin line glistened where it shouldn't. A slow, wet shine along the underside. He angled a light. "The brake line's been cut," he said. Not all the way, just enough to leak over time. My stomach dropped so hard I felt it in my throat. That's not wear and tear, he said. That's a blade. Clean cut. He showed me photos on his phone. Close-ups. Clear enough that I could see how deliberate it was. I haven't driven on the highway since yesterday, I said. Like that mattered. Ruben shook his head. Doesn't matter. If it let go at speed, you'd have a real problem. My hands started shaking. Ruben wiped his fingers on a rag. Who has access to your car? I thought about the employee lot. No cameras back there. Just a fence, a dumpster, and the shadow of the building. And Dale, whose whole job was walking around unnoticed. I drove straight to my manager. Her name was Carla. She listened without interrupting while I showed her Ruben's photos and explained the 3 breakdowns. When I finished, she didn't argue. She pulled up the security footage from the store's front cameras. The employee lot itself wasn't covered, but the entrance to that lot was. Carla scrubbed through the nights my car wouldn't start. Every single time, Dale's Navy pickup was parked near the entrance. Every single time he walked toward the employee lot about 20 minutes before my shift ended. Then he walked back. Then he waited. Carla's face went pale. I'm calling the police, she said. 2 officers arrived within the hour. They took my statement. They took Ruben's photos. Carla showed them the footage. One of the officers looked at the brake line pictures again and said flatly, "This isn't a prank." They asked to speak with Dale. Carla told me to stay in her office. I didn't see the conversation, but I saw Dale when they walked him across the store toward the back office. He looked at me once. Not angry, not scared, just calm, like he'd already practiced this moment in his head. After that, Carla called HR down. One officer asked about locker policy. Carla didn't hesitate. Lockers are company property. Employees sign that we can inspect them for safety issues. HR opened Dale's locker with Carla standing there as a witness. Inside was a small notebook and a stack of printed pages. My schedule, my license plate number, notes about which nights I closed, a list of dates with short comments beside them. Car starts, he smiles. Car doesn't start. He needs help. My mouth went dry. The officer photographed everything in place and bagged it. Later, they got a warrant for Dale's truck. That's where they found the rest, tools that didn't belong in a facilities kit, and more photos of my car taken low to the ground, close enough that you could see the brake line. They arrested him that night. The officer who took my statement told me the charges: stalking, criminal damage to property, reckless endangerment. The brake line alone could have killed you, he said. I quit the next week. Carla understood. She didn't try to talk me out of it. I work somewhere else now. Smaller store, closer to home, different parking lot. But I don't park in dark corners anymore. I park under a streetlight. I check my tires before I get in. Sometimes I crouch for a second and look underneath, like I'm pretending to tie my shoe. And when I stop for gas, I still catch myself scanning the lot for a Navy pickup. It's never there, but I still check, every time.
I worked at a sandwich shop near my college campus. It wasn't glamorous. Minimum wage, fluorescent lights, the smell of pickles stuck to my hair every night. But I needed the money. Our closing shift ended at 11 p.m., 2 people minimum. That was the rule. 1 on register, 1 on cleaning. Manager left at 9 after counting the safe. Her name was Danny. She started on a Tuesday. Short blonde hair, big smile, maybe 19 or 20. The manager introduced her during my shift. "This is Danny. She'll be shadowing you tonight," he said. I didn't think much of it. The first thing I noticed was how many questions she asked. Not about the job, about me. "Do you live in the dorms or off campus?" she asked while I showed her the slicer. "Off campus," I said. "Alone?" I paused. Something about the way she asked felt heavier than small talk. "With a roommate," I replied. She nodded slowly, smiled. Danny shadowed me for 3 more shifts that week. By Friday, she knew my class schedule, my car, the name of my cat. I told myself she was just friendly, overly friendly. That weekend, I bought myself a bag, a small crossbody, tan leather with a brass buckle. Nothing expensive. I found it at a thrift store downtown. I didn't post it anywhere, didn't tell anyone, it was just a bag. Monday night, Danny walked into work. She was carrying the same bag. Tan leather, brass buckle, same strap length, same everything. My stomach turned, but I forced a smile. "Cute bag, where'd you get it?" "Oh, this." Some thrift store. $5. Can you believe it? I told myself it was a coincidence. Tampa had 100 thrift stores. Maybe they all carried the same bags. I almost believed it. 2 weeks later, I bought new shoes. White sneakers with a thick sole. I saw them in a store window walking home from class. I wore them to work the next day. Danny looked down at my feet when I walked in. She didn't say anything. The following shift, she showed up wearing the same sneakers. White, thick sole, same brand. This time I didn't ask where she got them. I started paying closer attention. She parked next to my car every shift. She ordered the same lunch I ordered. She laughed at things the same way I laughed. That little exhale through the nose, I mentioned it to my roommate. That's creepy. But maybe she just looks up to you, like a weird admiration thing. I wanted to believe that, but I couldn't shake the feeling that I was being watched. One night after closing, I decided to walk home instead of drive. My apartment was only 15 minutes away and I needed the air. I was halfway home when I heard footsteps behind me. I slowed down. The footsteps slowed down. I sped up. They sped up. I stopped at a crosswalk and pretended to check my phone. I used the screen to look behind me. Someone was there, half a block back, standing in the shadow of a tree. I couldn't see their face. My heart started pounding. I crossed the street and turned down a side road. The footsteps followed. I needed to know. I pulled out my phone and called Danny. 1 ring, 2 rings. Then I heard it. A phone ringing, behind me, close. The ringtone was loud in the quiet street. I spun around. Nobody there. But the ringing stopped the moment my call went to voicemail. I ran. I sprinted the rest of the way home and locked the door behind me. I didn't sleep that night. I sat on my bed and waited for the sunrise. The next morning, I went to the police. I told them everything. The questions, the bag, the shoes, the footsteps, the phone call. The officer looked skeptical at first. Could be coincidence, he said. She was following me. I heard her phone ring, I said. He wrote something down, said they'd look into it. 3 days later, a detective called me. They found Danny's real name in a database. She had a record in another state. Different name, restraining order from a former coworker. They went to her apartment. The detective paused on the phone before telling me what they found. Photos. Dozens of them. Me walking to my car. Me outside my apartment. Me through the window of my living room. Some were dated. Timestamps in the corner. 3 weeks before she even started working at the shop.
She'd been watching me before we ever met.
She applied for the job because of me. I never went back to the shop. I never picked up my last paycheck. I moved apartments 2 months later. Different part of town, different routine. I don't buy things from thrift stores anymore. And I still can't wear those white sneakers. They're in a box in my closet. Every time I see them, I think about that night. The sound of her phone ringing in the dark. And how I never actually saw her face.
I'm a 27-year-old man. I worked nights at a roadside assistance call center outside Denver. Rows of desks, fluorescent light, low voices, headsets hanging off monitors like hooks. My shift was 4 p.m. to midnight. Everything was measured: adherence, handle time, after-call work. Even how long you were in the bathroom. My team lead reminded us every week.
If you're out of adherence, you're out of a job, she said.
So I kept my head down, took calls, followed the script, tried to sound calm even when people were stranded in the cold. The first weird thing started as a sound. 2 quick clicks in my headset. Clean, deliberate, not static. Not the usual pop when a call connects. The first night I heard it, I was mid-call. I paused, waiting for the line to drop. It didn't. The customer kept talking, so I kept talking too. I told myself it was the system doing something in the background, a routing thing, a software hiccup. The next night, it happened again. 2 quick clicks, then a short pause. Then my screen flashed and a call came in. I started anticipating it, waiting for the clicks like they were a warning. I leaned over to the guy next to me, Trevor. Do you ever hear 2 clicks before a call connects? I asked. No, he said, like I'd asked if the ceiling was talking. I swapped USB ports, adjusted the headset, even grabbed an alcohol wipe and scrubbed the earpads until the foam smelled sharp and sterile. The clicks stayed. A few nights later, the clicks came, and then I heard something else. A breath, soft, close, not the caller, not the room. A second presence on the line that wasn't speaking. My fingers stopped over the keyboard. My heart dropped. The customer was still talking about his dead battery like nothing was wrong. I finished the call, took the next one, 2 clicks. Breath. Then, barely audible, a whisper that could have been a word. I told myself I was imagining it. I'd been staring at screens for 6 hours. My ears were tired. My brain was inventing patterns. The next day, I asked IT for a different headset. They handed me one from a plastic bin and made me sign a clipboard. That was our level of security, a signature and a shrug. I put the new headset on. 2 quick clicks. I stared at my monitor. My stomach turned. I tried to rationalize it. Maybe this was coaching, monitoring, QA, listening in. I messaged my team lead in chat. Can someone monitor calls without telling us? Leads can, she replied. It's normal. Why? I didn't type the truth. Someone is breathing in my ear. Someone is whispering. Just weird noise in my headset, I wrote. Thought it might be monitoring. Swap headsets and put in a ticket, she said. I already had, so I tried something else. The next night, during break, I moved desks. People did it all the time. As long as you logged into a phone, nobody cared where you sat. I picked a station near the front doors where the janitor passed through, and the place didn't feel as empty. I logged in. 2 quick clicks. No call yet, just the click. My hands went stiff on the keyboard. Then, my internal chat popped up. A message from an account labeled floor support. 1 line. Front row is colder. My throat went dry. I hadn't told anyone I moved. I hadn't even been back on calls yet. I sat there listening to the air vent above me. The front row really was colder. The draft pressed against my arms. And then I caught it. A sweet smell, like vanilla body spray. It was faint at first, then stronger, like someone had walked past and left it in the air. I turned and looked down the row. Mariah was seated 2 stations behind me. Quiet girl. Always on time. Hair pulled back. Same black sweater most nights. She didn't talk unless spoken to. Her headset was on. Her lips moved slightly, like she was reading. She wasn't taking calls. She was watching the wallboard. My next call came in. 2 clicks. Breath. I got through the script with my voice as steady as I could make it. After the call, I stood up and walked straight to my team lead's glass office. She looked irritated until she saw my face.
What?
Someone's on my line, I said. I moved desks and they messaged me about it. From an account I don't recognize.
Do you have proof?
I shook my head. I hated how I sounded. Can you check if someone's coaching me? I asked. Like the logs. She turned to her computer and clicked through menus I'd never seen. Her expression tightened. She rotated the monitor toward me. A list of entries next to my agent ID. Coach, coach, coach. Over and over. A console name on the right. Training 2. My team lead went still.
That's not a room.
She said, more to herself than to me.
That's a console ID, a supervisor tool. It can be opened from any station if someone has the credential. Whisper coaching only hits the agent's audio. The caller won't hear it.
My stomach dropped. So Mariah didn't have to be in some back room. She could have been anywhere. Behind me. 2 rows over. Close enough for me to smell that sweet vanilla on the air. My team lead clicked again, pulling up the source details. The entries weren't tied to a desk location, just a login name that should have been restricted. She stood up fast.
Stay here,
She said. I followed anyway. We moved out onto the floor, scanning the rows as we walked. The farther we got from the glass offices, the colder the air felt. The vents blasted harder in the back half of the room, like the building wanted that corner frozen. And the vanilla smell got stronger for a second, then faded, like someone had just passed through. My team lead stopped at an empty station near the training corner, one of the spare desks new hires used when the floor was busy. The monitor was on. The headset was still warm. A supervisor console window was open on the screen. No caller, no customer audio, just my agent ID highlighted like a target. My team lead didn't raise her voice, but I heard the edge in it.
Mariah?
She said. I turned. She was a few steps away, standing between the rows like she belonged there. Calm, hands at her sides. That same closed-mouth smile. My skin crawled.
Step away from that station.
My lead said. Maria didn't move at first.
I was helping.
She said, like it was obvious. My team lead pointed at the screen.
You're not authorized. Where did you get the login?
She said. Maria's eyes flicked to me.
You always hesitate before the policy line. Right after the clicks.
She said. I couldn't breathe for a second. She wasn't guessing. She'd listened long enough to learn my rhythm. Why me? I asked, and my voice came out smaller than I meant it to. Mariah's smile didn't change.
Front row is colder.
She said again. You noticed. My team lead stepped back and called security. Mariah didn't run. She took the headset off carefully and set it down like it mattered. Then she walked past me, close enough that I felt warmth against my ear. Not through audio, real breath.
You'll hear it even when I'm gone.
She whispered. Then she walked out. Security arrived minutes later. They searched the floor, checked exits. Maria was gone. Her badge was left on that empty station. The console window was closed. The desktop was wiped clean like she'd planned to leave light. IT pulled the logs the next day. Training 2 wasn't a person. It was an old supervisor credential that should have been disabled months ago. And the worst part was how simple it was. A password someone had written on a sticky note and taped under a spare keyboard in the training corner. Maria didn't hack anything. She just needed a quiet minute. HR called it a policy violation, a termination, an incident report. They told us not to discuss it. They wanted it forgotten.
I quit the next week.
On my last night, I packed my drawer and unplugged my headset. I was holding it in my hand when I heard it. 2 quick clicks. No call came in, just the clicks, clean and deliberate. And a faint, sweet vanilla smell in the air behind me, like someone standing too close. That's all 3 stories. Story 1 was pure control, creating a problem so you'd need him. Story 2 was quieter, but it felt personal, like someone was trying to wear your life. And story 3 proved you don't even need a key anymore, just access. Now I want you to vote. Which one was the scariest? The break line, the imitation, or the call center clicks? Tell me in the comments, and if you've ever had a coworker cross a line, don't ignore it. Document it. Tell someone. Change your routine. Thanks for watching. Subscribe for more true scary stories, and I'll see you in the next one.